you've arrived at Adventures in Dreamland. Soft, surreal, and slightly cheeky sleep stories with awe and wonder. I'm Serene, your guide tonight. Whether you're here for sleepy science, surreal dreamscapes, I'm grateful you're here. I write these stories to help you drift and grow. Now, we return to what we are. Every living organism on this planet, no matter how small or complex, wants the same thing. Every action we take is for this one thing: to avoid pain and obtain bliss. Bliss is a state of endless joy, mixed with peace beyond our knowing. Whether you call it the soul, awareness, or your highest self, that part of you, during deep sleep, temporarily withdraws from the body and the conscious mind and returns to the freedom and unity with the divine. Bliss without awareness. This restores not just the body and mind, but our spirits too, offering a sense of inner peace and clarity. So yes, sleep is sacred. You are returning back to your natural state. Freedom. Your story begins. How Birds Navigate of our Dream Wonders playlist, where we appreciate fascinating facts in our world of wonder. 1. The strangest sense in nature. You find yourself on a wooden dock at dusk, overlooking a salt marsh. The water is silver. The reeds are gold. Somewhere overhead, a high ragged V of geese is heading south, calling to each other in long honking lines that fade into the rose-colored sky. You watch them go. You blink, taking it in. Okay, either I have wandered into the world's most peaceful retirement community for shorebirds, or this dock is the front row seat to one of the strangest and most impossible journeys on the planet. Spoiler, it is the second one. Now, you hear yourself say, I want to tell you about the strangest sense in nature. Not echolocation, not infrared vision, not even the way a shark senses electricity in the water. Tonight's sense is stranger than all of that. Birds can see the Earth's magnetic field, not feel it, not sense it dimly, see it, overlaid on their vision like a faint colored haze, telling them which way is north. Scientists confirmed it in 2021 after 60 years of trying. The mechanism is so strange it bends physics. It requires quantum mechanics to explain. And it is happening right now inside the eyes of a robin in your garden. Another flock passes overhead. The honks are softer now, further away. Birds find their way across continents and oceans and hemispheres without maps, without GPS, without the ability to read a road sign. A swallow that hatched in your barn last summer can fly 6,000 miles to South Africa, spend the winter, and return to the exact same barn, the exact same rafter, the same year-old nest. A young Arctic tern can be born in Greenland, fly 50,000 miles to Antarctica, and back in her first year, and never have been taught the route by anyone. They do this with several tools at once. They use the position of the sun. They use the stars at night. They use smell. Pigeons can map their way home by odor. They use polarized light at sunrise. They remember coastlines, rivers, mountain ridges. But the strangest tool of all, the one that has only just been understood, is the quantum compass running inside their eyes. Tonight we are going to look at how it works. Then we are going to meet two birds, one who holds the world record for total distance flown in a year, and one who holds the world record for the longest single flight ever recorded without rest. Both of them are using that quantum compass right now to thread the needle of a journey that should be impossible. Let us begin with the eye. 2. The quantum compass. Inside a songbird's eye. Inside the eye of a migratory bird, you say, in the cells that detect blue and ultraviolet light, is a protein called cryptochrome, 527 amino acids long. It is also in your eyes, by the way. Most animals have a version of it, but the version birds carry, cryptochrome 4, does something nobody else's does. When blue light hits cryptochrome 4, the protein absorbs the light and one of its electrons gets kicked loose. That electron jumps along a chain of 4 specific amino acids called tryptophans, lined up inside the protein like stepping stones. By the time the electron reaches the end of the chain, it has left behind a partner electron at the start. The 2 electrons are now in different parts of the molecule, but they are still linked. Quantum mechanically, they share a single quantum identity. Physicists call this entanglement. Albert Einstein called this spooky action at a distance. He hated it. He insisted in print multiple times that it could not possibly be real. He was, on this one specific point, completely and embarrassingly wrong. Quantum entanglement is real. It is happening right now in physics labs all over the world. And, to Einstein's eternal posthumous frustration, it is also happening inside the eye of every robin in Europe. Here is what the entanglement does. The Earth's magnetic field, only 50 microtesla, millions of times weaker than the magnet on your refrigerator, is far too weak for any normal biological mechanism to detect. But the entangled electrons are not normal. Their spins, linked across the molecule, respond to that incredibly weak field. The angle the bird's head is pointed at, relative to magnetic north, changes the spin pattern by tiny amounts. The spin pattern changes which chemical reactions the molecule completes. The chemistry changes the cell signal sent to the bird's brain. The result, scientists believe, is that the bird sees a faint colored haze laid over its normal vision, brighter or dimmer, depending on which way the bird is facing. Look north, the haze shifts. Look south, the haze shifts again. The bird does not need a compass. The bird is a compass, built directly into the way it sees the world. This was a hypothesis for 60 years. The breakthrough came in 2021. A team led by physicist Peter Hoare at Oxford and biologist Henrik Moritzen at Oldenburg University in Germany finally isolated cryptochrome, 4 from the eyes of European robins. They proved in the lab that the protein really does respond to magnetic fields, exactly as quantum theory predicted. Then they tested it. They exposed migratory birds to weak radio waves at the precise frequency predicted to interfere with the quantum spin states. The birds lost their direction, removed the radio waves. They got it back. The quantum model was right. Birds are doing quantum mechanics with their eyes, as naturally as you breathe. Something to think about the next time a sparrow hops on your windowsill, looking unimpressed with you. 3. The tern who sees more sunlight than any animal on earth. Now, you say, let us meet the bird that holds the record. The dock fades. You are now standing on a small rocky island off the coast of Greenland. The wind is sharp. The sky is full of seabirds, and one bird in particular, small, sleek, sharp-tailed, with a black cap and a forked tail like a swallow's, comes streaking past your head and wheels out over the water. A high, keening cry. This is the Arctic tern, Sterna paradisea. She weighs about 3.5 ounces, less than a deck of cards. She lives on average 30 years, and she is, by every measurement scientists have ever taken, the longest distance migrator in the entire animal kingdom. Yes, including whales, including monarchs, including everything you might be guessing right now. A bird the size of your hand has them all beaten. Every year of her life, she flies from the Arctic to Antarctica and back, tracking studies published in 2010 and updated as recently as 2024, using tiny geolocators glued to the legs of individual terns, revealed the truth. The longest tern they ever tracked flew nearly 60,000 miles in a single year. The average bird does 44,000. The annual round trip alone is greater than the circumference of the Earth. In her 30-year lifetime, an Arctic tern flies somewhere between 1.5 and 2.5 million miles. That is the equivalent of flying to the moon and back 3 times, by a bird the size of your hand. And here is the part that frankly breaks my brain. She follows summer. She breeds in the Arctic in June, when the sun does not set. 24 hours of daylight. Then she flies south. By December, she is in the Antarctic, where the sun does not set either. 24 hours of daylight again. She has chosen the only flight path on Earth that lets her live almost her entire adult life under continuous sunlight. The Arctic tern sees more sunlight than any animal that has ever existed. Her route is not a straight line. The terns follow ocean wind systems and food currents, gigantic S-curves and zigzags down the Atlantic, sometimes touching Africa, sometimes South America. They almost never land. Most of their journey is over open ocean. They sleep on the wing in short bursts. They feed by plunging from the air into the water for small fish and krill. The whole trip is run, every minute of every day, by the quantum compass we just talked about, cross-checked against the sun, the stars, the swell of the waves, and the smell of the wind. None of this is taught. A young tern, on her first migration, leaves her parents behind and flies 15,000 miles alone to a continent she has never seen, and finds it. The instructions are written into her body. The map is hard-coded. The compass is in her eye. That is half won. We are not done with the records yet. The bird with the longest non-stop flight is even more extraordinary, and we will meet her after the break. For 11 days without landing. The Arctic Tern holds the record for total distance, you say. But the record for the longest single non-stop flight ever recorded in any animal belongs to a different bird, and what she does to her own body to make the journey is one of the most extraordinary feats of biology on Earth. Meet the bar-tailed godwit, Limosa laponica, a medium-sized shorebird with a long upturned bill, mottled brown and tan feathers, and the kind of long legs that suggests she was built for wading. About 1.5 pounds in weight, native across the Arctic regions of Europe, Asia, and Alaska. The Alaskan subspecies makes a flight every autumn that nobody believed possible until tracking technology proved it. They fly from western Alaska to New Zealand, non-stop, over the open Pacific Ocean. No food, no water, no rest, no land beneath them at any point. In October 2022, scientists tracked one young male, bar-tailed godwit, tagged in Alaska, flying 8,400 miles to Tasmania over 11 days and 1 hour. No landing. The previous record holder, also a godwit, had flown 7,500 miles to New Zealand. He broke his own species record by 900 miles. Now, how does a 1.5 pound bird fly for 11 days without stopping? Before the trip, she eats, constantly, for weeks. She doubles her body weight in fat. A 1.5 pound bird becomes a 3-pound bird, mostly flying lard. If she were a human, this would be the part of the documentary where everyone gently suggests she see a doctor. For a godwit, this is a 5-star training program. Then, on the morning of departure, her body does something genuinely strange. Her digestive organs, her stomach, her intestines, her liver, her kidneys, partially shrink. Her flight muscles grow. She is not just losing weight on the journey. She is cannibalizing her own organs mid-flight, converting her own body tissue into fuel as she runs out of fat. By the time she lands in New Zealand, she has burned through over half her body weight. And she lands, tired, hollow, organs reduced, but alive. She rebuilds her body in New Zealand over the following months. The Maori people of New Zealand, who have watched these birds arrive every spring for at least 1,000 years, call her quokka, She features in traditional proverbs about perseverance, about returning home, about endurance against impossible odds. They knew, before any tracking technology, that the Kawaka had come from somewhere very far away. And she did it, all 8,000 miles, using the quantum compass we talked about earlier, cross-checked against the stars, cross-checked against the sun, cross-checked against the prevailing winds of the Pacific, across an ocean with no landmarks, for 11 days, without sleep in any meaningful sense, only short stolen moments of brain shutdown, while half her brain stays flying. That is the longest nonstop flight any animal on Earth has ever been recorded making, by a bird the weight of a coconut. 5. The many tools of the toolbox. The quantum compass is the strangest tool, but it is not the only one. Birds layer it with everything else they have, like a pilot running every navigation system at once. During the day, they use the sun. They have an internal body clock so accurate that they can correct for the sun moving across the sky from morning to evening. A pigeon does this without thinking about it. At night, they use the stars. In a series of beautiful experiments in the 1960s, an ornithologist named Stephen Emlyn raised baby indigo buntings in a planetarium. He showed some of them the real night sky. He showed others a fake night sky, where he had moved the celestial pole to a completely different star. When the birds grew up and tried to migrate, the ones who had seen the real sky oriented themselves correctly. The ones who had seen the fake sky oriented themselves to the fake center. The birds had learned the rotation of the stars as chicks. Whatever star the sky rotated around, that was their north. Pigeons use smell, released hundreds of miles from home in unfamiliar territory. They orient by an invisible map of odors carried on the wind. Researchers in Italy, who appear to have a lot of time on their hands, plugged the noses of pigeons before releasing them. The pigeons got lost. Unplug the noses, they go home. Science. Birds use polarized light at sunrise and sunset. The bands of polarization in the sky tell them which direction the sun is, even when the sun itself is below the horizon. They use coastlines, rivers, mountain ridges, familiar landmarks. The ones they have flown before, they remember in incredible detail. Researchers tracking individual albatrosses have found the birds flying the exact same loops, year after year, with route accuracy that suggests genuine memory of specific points in the ocean. Every long-distance bird is running all of these systems at once. If clouds block the stars, they fall back on the magnetic compass. If a magnetic anomaly throws the compass off, they fall back on the sun. If the sun is hidden, they smell their way. If they get lost completely, they look for landmarks. The toolbox is so deep that almost nothing in nature can fool a healthy migratory bird for long. 6. Coming home to the exact same tree. Here is the smaller miracle inside the bigger one. After all of this, After 20,000 miles, after 11 days over the Pacific, after a year crossing 2 hemispheres, many migratory birds return to within a few feet of where they were born. A barn swallow returns to the same barn, the same rafter, the same nest, year after year. If the barn is torn down between seasons, she lands at the spot in the air where the rafter used to be, looking for it, clearly, deeply, personally offended that humans have moved her bedroom. A wandering albatross, after circling the entire Southern Ocean for a year, lands on the same rocky outcrop on the same sub-Antarctic island where she was born, and finds her mate, who has independently navigated back from the other direction, waiting in the same spot. A salmon, different animal, same principle, returns to the exact stream where she hatched, after years in the open ocean, by following the chemical signature of her natal water, parts per trillion, in a continent of rivers. How? Magnetic compass for the long stretch, sun and stars for course corrections, smell for the last few hundred miles, visual memory for the final approach. The combination is so accurate that birds threading the needle between continents land within meters of where they were last year. And the truly extraordinary part, for many species, the first migration is done alone, by a young bird that has never seen the route, with no parents to follow. The instructions are genetic. The map is in the body. The compass is in the eye. 7. What scrambles the birds? A few things, all of them increasingly common, can break the compass. Solar storms. When the sun fires off a coronal mass ejection, it disturbs Earth's magnetic field for hours or days. Migrating birds during a strong solar storm have been observed flying off course, sometimes by hundreds of miles. They recover when the field stabilizes. Radio waves at specific frequencies, the same frequencies that match the quantum spin states inside cryptochrome. In experiments, songbirds in cages exposed to weak radio waves between 50 kilohertz and 5 megahertz lose their direction completely. These are the frequencies of AM radio and some industrial equipment. Cities full of these signals are slowly making it harder for birds to navigate through them. Light pollution at night. The brighter our cities get, the harder it is for migrating birds to see the stars. Birds collide with lit skyscrapers in the millions every year. Some cities, Toronto, New York, Chicago, have begun voluntary lights out programs during peak migration weeks. Wind turbines, communication towers, power lines. We are slowly making the world louder, brighter, and more magnetically chaotic for animals whose entire navigation system depends on quiet, dark, undisturbed signals. 8. Good night to the migrators. The salt marsh returns. The dock returns. The reeds are dark now, the water silver black under a rising moon. Somewhere tonight, an Arctic tern is asleep on the wing over the South Atlantic, half her brain shut down while the other half flies. Somewhere a bar-tailed godwit is feeding up in Alaska, eating constantly, doubling her body weight, For a journey she will start in a few weeks. Somewhere a robin's chick is hatching in a nest in Yorkshire, and inside her tiny developing eye, the cryptochrome is already wiring itself for a flight she has not yet taken. The Earth has been pulsing with its magnetic field for billions of years. Life has been quietly learning to read it almost the entire time. We are only just starting to understand. You feel yourself drifting. The dock fades. The geese honk one last time, very far away. You sink into your own warm bed, your own soft pillow, your own quiet breath. You are held. You are safe. You are loved. You are home. Sweet dreams.